You ever give an AI a perfect multi-step plan and it just completely ignores it? It's a super common frustration. But what if the real fix wasn't some super complex prompt, but something shockingly simple? Today, we're going to dig into how a single tag can tame even the most powerful AI.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? You spend all this time building this beautiful multi-step plan for an AI, and by step two, it's already gone off the rails. How do you actually get it to stick to the script? So let's follow one developer who is tackling this exact problem. All right, so our story kicks off with something a lot of developers know all too well: Jira tickets. The goal? To build an AI that could automatically handle these things. Analyze them, resolve them, the whole shebang. Sounds simple on paper, right? But in practice, a huge technical challenge. So the mission was clear: create one single master prompt to guide an AI through this entire workflow. Simple enough, you'd think. But, well, the AI had other ideas. And let's just say the first attempts were a total disaster. The prompts were brittle, super unreliable, and honestly, they just left the AI completely confused.
Okay, so attempt number one was the most straightforward approach, just a simple step-by-step series of commands.
And look, the logic here seemed pretty sound. The idea was to create this master orchestrator command that would then call another custom command to analyze the ticket. It's kind of like telling your assistant to go ask another assistant for some info. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, it failed immediately. The AI just couldn't find the custom command it was supposed to call. It was like it didn't even exist. So the whole workflow just broke before it even got started. This direct command idea, a total dead end. Okay, so to get what happens next, you got to understand two different ways these AIs can operate. On one side, you've got react mode. Think of it like a robot just following a super strict recipe. It's predictable, sure, but it's also really rigid. Then on the other side, you've got agent mode. This one's more like a creative chef. It's flexible, it can improvise, but that creativity can also lead to some pretty unpredictable mistakes. So, since the rigid robot approach failed, our developer decided to try the creative chef, switching over to agent mode and hoping that flexibility would be the key. And this is where the downside of all that flexibility really showed itself. The AI agent would just fail, kind of randomly, sometimes even hallucinating that it couldn't access a server it totally needed to. Basically, all that freedom to be creative just gave it more ways to mess up. So it was back to the drawing board.
So, let's recap. Direct commands failed. Flexible agents also failed. But attempt number 3, this is where we start to see a glimmer of hope. They were definitely getting closer.
This new tactic was actually pretty clever. Instead of telling the AI to call another command, they used the @ symbol to just embed the rules of the other commands right into the main prompt. It's like they were pasting all the individual recipes directly into one big master instruction sheet. And you know what? It almost worked. The AI understood the steps way better. It even started evaluating its own work, giving itself a score. But, and this is a big but, look at this. It scored itself a 6 out of a required 8, and then just stopped. It literally just decided, good enough, and moved on, even though the instructions clearly said to keep trying until it hit a score of 8. 6 out of 8. I mean, can you imagine how frustrating that is? So close. The AI had everything it needed, but it was still losing context somewhere along the way and forgetting the single most important rule: don't stop until you hit that target score. It was like all the steps were blurring together. And that brings us to the breakthrough. The simple, almost laughably simple change that finally made it all just click. Okay, this is it, the big reveal. On the left, you see the old prompt, just a big old stream of text. But on the right, the new one. The only difference? Each instruction, every file it had to read, was wrapped in a simple XML tag, like Jira Analyzer and /Jira Analyzer. It basically put these neat little boxes around every single piece of the puzzle.
And the effect? It was immediate. Just look at the AI's response here. It comes right out and says, okay, I get it. I see the tags. I'm saving the content of each file to its own tag. It finally understood that these were separate, distinct parts of the job.
And the results? A perfect 8 out of 8. The AI followed the whole workflow, reevaluated its own work when it came up short, and finished the task exactly as it was told to. Every single time. Total success. So what's the big takeaway here? Why did this tiny little change make such a massive difference? Let's break down what we learned from this whole journey. Because it really all comes down to one core idea. Structure is king. So these XML tags, you can think of them like digital fences. By wrapping each instruction inside its own tag, it created a super clear boundary. And that's what stopped the AI from getting confused, or mushing all the instructions together, or just forgetting a critical step halfway through. It forced the AI to see each part as its own important, distinct thing. So this whole thing really boils down to 3 key principles if you want to build reliable AI workflows. First, isolate your components with tags. Second, for these step-by-step tasks, you're better off with the predictable React mode. And third, use one main orchestrator prompt to manage all those tagged up parts.
Look, if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. When you're writing prompts for an AI, how you ask is every bit as important as what you ask. The structure of your request, literally, can be the difference between complete failure and total success. I mean, this is the power of structure right here. These tags, they help complex prompts actually work. They stop the AI from losing context. They put a big spotlight on each step. And at the end of the day, they just make your AI workflows way, way more robust and reliable.
So that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question, doesn't it? If a solution this simple, we're just talking about adding a few brackets and a word, can unlock this much power and reliability in an AI, what are you going to build with it?